Hi, I'm Jen Farley, and I believe that there is a rock star within all of us. And I'm going on the road and interviewing some people who I know that I believe are amazing rock stars in what they do. Today, I am actually in Shaker Heights, Ohio, with one of my closest, bestest, awesomest friends, Gabe Brett. So welcome, Gabe.
Thank you.
Okay, so Gabe is an amazing floral designer, and she is actually starting her own business doing some freelance floral design work. So I really wanted to talk to her now and see how much she's grown in her own business and how much she's grown in her work that she does, and discover some of her passions about flowers and floral design. So yeah,
I love talking flowers, so this is perfect.
Awesome. So we have known each other since 1996.
We were two.
We were 2 years old. Just kidding. So Gabe and I met in college, and we were destined to meet because we met 3 times in 1 week, and have been very good friends ever since. We were in each other's weddings. We've been with each other for births and moves and all sorts of stuff. So it's pretty awesome to be able to interview you for this awesome series.
It's awesome to be with you.
I know. That's really we've just been talking and chatting all afternoon. So where has your love of flowers started?
I think as a kid, being an only child raised by a single parent, I spent a lot of time on my own. I didn't live on streets with lots of kids. So I just sort of would notice the petals of a flower, the grains of grass. I mean, just spent time sort of exploring nature around me. And little by little, you notice how many petals each flower has. And if you pick them apart where the seeds are, I just really leaned into that exploring nature as a child. And I don't know if you remember in college, my little garden in the windowsill
in our dorm room. Yes.
Everyone thought I was growing herbal substances, and it was cilantro, and I think it was a salsa garden.
Yeah, I do remember that.
It was cilantro and tomatoes, and I grew sunflowers.
You were such an old lady because you were also crocheting in our dorm room. But I love that. Yeah. And you made it cool.
Yeah. I've always been sort of crafty. And I did at, I don't know, 17, 18, 19, spend time with my grandma learning to crochet and helping her in the garden.
Yeah.
And, when my mom and I moved to a new house, I'd tear out the landscaping and put new stuff in. And I was always growing seeds.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's just a passion. It's just one of those things, as much as you don't really know who you are at 18, there's little sparks of who you are that are there and you don't really know why. But it's just sort of, it's always been there. So.
And that's interesting because we were just talking about personality assessment tests. Yeah. And when you were 18, you took a personality assessment, a Myers-Briggs.
Yeah. And it came back that I should be a farmer. And it's a little bit absurd. When you're 18, you're oh, I'm going to put on my overalls and get my, my fork and my shovel and start farming. You don't have land. It doesn't make any sense. And yet, growing 100 seeds this year of annual flowers that I can grow and cut and use. Okay, maybe there was something to it.
Yeah.
That's always been there. And it's been a steady thing that sometimes you repress because you're no, I need a job that pays and has benefits. And, and you go through life and you meander and, I became a stay-at-home mom, but then I found my way back to flowers and just kind of these themes that are consistent.
Yeah. And then now as an adult, rediscovering that passion.
Am I an adult?
Oh my God, no, we're not adults. But now in our 40s, we're rediscovering passions and we're doing that, right?
Yeah.
So and you're doing that with flowers.
Yeah, and you have the means to okay, I can buy grow lamps and I can invest a little more in what fulfills me, whether it makes financial sense or not. If you have a little better sense of following some passion where you spend the money where it fulfills you. So
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll have a farm of flowers, but I have a flower bed of flowers, and that's enough.
Yeah. So what does a beautiful flower arrangement mean to you?
I will say there's nothing better than, for me, taking a seed, growing a plant that I've intentionally brought into the world, cutting it and giving it to someone. That full circle of creating, you know, and giving it to someone, it means everything. It's like, to me, that's the best gift I can give. It's not something I go to the store and purchase. It's something that with intention I have grown and then can pass along, whether it's me to you or someone buying it to give to someone else. You know, grocery store flowers have their place, but those funky little bits that you can't really identify are my favorite. Like, I love when someone's like, what is this beautiful little thing?
Yeah.
And that's the best kind of compliment, is like something that nobody's seen before, or it's rare and unusual. I think that flower is just as special as the person who's receiving it.
So. I love that.
And flowers are really special. So.
How do you connect with that feeling of being a rock star now that you're like really learning about what makes you fulfilled and what gives you passion and drive? How has working with flowers and arranging them connected you to that feeling of being a rock star?
You know, I think in life I've tried to like kind of tamp down that like rock star feeling. It's like, I'm not the best, I'm just okay. You know, so it's like, it's really easy to deny those feelings of like, I did awesome at that, and that was easy and amazing and fulfilling.
Right.
And it almost, sometimes it feels like it doesn't count unless it's hard and challenging. And flowers to me are like, you know, I can go in anybody's backyard and make a stunning arrangement because I rock it. Creating flowers.
Yeah, you do.
But I didn't believe that until I kept getting feedback of like, where did you find that? I'm like, oh, that was in the bushes in the front. And they're like, you know, my mom's like, what? Where are you? What bushes? Where? How do you see these things and their potential? And because it comes easy, I think I discounted the value that it brought. You know, like the value that I have because it's easy. I felt like, well, it's got to be challenging to be valuable. But flowers aren't challenging for me. I mean, certainly there are times, but you know, the more I think feedback I've gotten, the more I feel like that rock star in me has been in there all along, and I just sort of denied this natural ability.
Yeah.
So I think I'm finally like embracing what has been there all along.
That's awesome. It reminds me of the author Gay Hendricks wrote the Big Leap. And he talks about the zone of genius. And the zone of genius is like really where, exactly, you're finding your zone of genius, like where it's something that you're really, really good at. And there's a talent there. And you enjoy.
Yeah.
And that like is easy for you, is like at ease. Whereas like, I know that you've seen me perform 100 million times. And for me, that's easy, and you can't imagine doing that.
Never.
I can't imagine growing anything.
I wouldn't even want to introduce you. I'd be so nervous. I'd be like, that is not my strength. That is not my, Yeah.
No. So, I mean, I feel like you're like stepping into that. So, I think that's pretty amazing.
You know, and there's that little voice inside that's like, you're never going to make it. You're a fraud. You're, you know.
Yep, and we all have that.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
And I kept having to say like, fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it, you know?
Yeah.
And that voice doesn't come in nearly as much as it used to. But we all have
it's that inner critic. It's that judge that's saying like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
And sometimes those voices come out when you're on the precipice of doing what you should be doing.
I hope so. I hope that's right.
So we're gonna do a demonstration in a little bit about how to put a beautiful flower arrangement together. Before we do, my number one favorite question to ask, what is your Rockstar theme song? What song do you connect with as a rock star?
Well, it's interesting. I am a fan of a variety of genres that are not very popular with most people. So I would have to say, if I'm looking for some motivation, definitely like old school hip hop. I love Rapper's Delight.
She can do the whole thing.
Yes.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
I've seen it a few times. It's pretty awesome.
But I also I know if I need calm energy, like Kenny Chesney brings it to me, which is also not super popular country. And then my default with my kids is always Bob Marley. If I'm about to lose my mind,
yes,
a little Three Little Birds or One Love always grounds me. So. I can't just pick one.
No. Just like flowers, you can't just pick one.
It's true. It's true. I will literally say oh, you are my favorite. And I'm like, oh, but you, I love you too. Yeah. I speak to them. It's a little weird, but.
Why is that weird?
Do you talk to flowers too?
Yeah. I have names for flowers.
Oh, good. Okay.
I love it when someone names their plants like Robert Plant. And just name it like Robert.
That's creative. I like that.
So what is next? So you are starting to do some more freelance work.
Well, I've been doing freelance work for about 4 years. And little by little, people are like, hey, can you do an arrangement for me? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I should do a little more. So I have formed a business name, Sweet Nectar, and the paperwork's in. It's all legit. But, it's scary because I don't want to disrupt the freelance relationship I have with the shop I work for. But I also want to be able to grow my own stuff and do my own thing on the side. And so finding that balance, I think, is tricky, but I'm baby stepping it. So.
You're baby stepping. Yeah. And the next thing we know, it's going to be...
Well, not too big.
Not too big?
Not too big too soon. I still have 3 kids.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me what the pandemic was like for you. You had 3 kids.
It's fun. We've eaten more grilled cheese than I care to admit. So 3 kids home. They did remote school almost the whole year, except those last 2 weeks. So it's been fun. I mean, we've gotten a lot closer. I wanted 1 year of them all being in the same school, and that didn't happen. But I got 1 year of all 4 of us being at home together, which was a blessing.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't do much with my business because everybody was home all day.
Well, I was going to ask, what do they think about your flower arrangements? What do they think about the work that you create? Are they just like, whatever, mom's doing her thing?
No, I think they take pride in it. They're excited for me. I think it's good for them to see that, I started freelancing, and then I formed an LLC, and little by little, watching me sort of explore this business venture, I think there's an element of pride for them. My daughter yesterday asked me, so someday when you are ready to retire, are you going to give me your business? And I'm like, well, I kind of have to start the business first.
But she already sees you have a business.
Sees it. Yeah. And I said, someday, in summer when you come home from college, if I do have a business, hopefully you'll work with me, and we'll build it together. And I mean, that's a long way out, 10 years away or whatever. Yeah. But, I think they see me planting stuff. They're not super engaged in helping, but they're supportive. If I'm don't interrupt me right now, I'm working on a project, they'll give me space because they see it's important and they want to see me succeed.
demo here. Demo on how to put together a gorgeous flower arrangement.
Okay, so we have a beautiful base with water. I like to use ceramic, something kind of, I don't know.
With substance.
Something kind of funky. Glass vases are kind of, they're fine, but kind of predictable, a little meh, I don't know. So first I start with some filler flowers, or filler greens.
Okay.
So you can take these, and what I do, these I picked from the garden this morning.
Okay. Do I have to take some
So you'll take the lower leaves off. I'm spilling stuff over here. So you take the lower leaves off, because you don't want
like this one
leaves
too?
below the water line. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
No leaves below the water line.
No leaves below the water line. So you kind of can put your stem next to the vase and go, okay, how big do we want it to be? So cut the stem at an angle. Got it? Okay. Yep.
Like that?
Yeah, and you kind of like crisscross them. I'm making a mess over here. All right, I'm gonna give you this guy.
Okay.
So you just take those lower leaves off. Sometimes, if you have two leaves here, see, you can do a cut there.
Okay.
So you get two branches off of one stem. So we'll do more. Whoopsie. Get in there.
Oops.
Yeah. Yeah, so they just like, they're kind of like crisscrossing in the vase.
Okay.
And that kind of builds a grid that you can work on.
Okay.
So I like to do that. So you have like a base layer. So you have like a tiny vase with a big branching out. So it looks really like full already.
Awesome.
These are other fillers. This is just sage. So if you want to strip the bottom leaves
Ooh,
off.
girl. It smells like sage.
Yeah. You making a turkey anytime soon? So I'm just throwing the greens. So sometimes this one's too tiny and take that out. Okay, so you just don't want leaves below the water line, because then you get kind of like mildew, bacteria.
Oh, yeah.
Flowers are not going to look real pretty. All right, so throw these puppies in.
Do I have to crisscross it like that?
Yeah, you can put them wherever. It just kind of fills out, so you don't see the water. You don't really want to see the water. Any kind of leaves that have brown stuff like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pitch
I'm gonna take. You're out. You're
Yeah,
out.
You're out. Get out of there.
Okay.
All right, so we've got like a nice little base. Check these out. Smell this. You think, oh, the flowers smell so good. Guess what?
Ooh.
Sometimes it's the greens.
What is this?
Nobody knows. It's scented geranium.
It smells like lemon.
Isn't it amazing?
Did you grow this?
I mean, I purchased the plant and it's been growing.
Okay.
Yeah, seeds are tricky with scented geranium. All right, so we'll pop that baby in there just so it smells good. Next we can do some roses. So give you a rose. So we're gonna strip the leaves off of these.
Oh, okay.
And then any funky little petals, and just take off.
I guess I'm so afraid to hurt the flower.
No. They're pretty hardy. Yeah. All right, so these ones will cut a little shorter than the big greens. Do you want to cut them?
How short do we
I
want
don't know, something like round. And we may do some longer. Yep. So just pop that puppy in there. So what I try to do is, think about like how, if we're gonna use, let's say we use 5 roses.
Okay.
So you wanna, sometimes you put them side by side, sometimes you space them out. Let's just see how it goes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Is it like you let the flowers decide what it wants to do?
Honestly. Sometimes my mom will watch and be like, how do you know what to do? I'm like, I kind of don't. I just figure it out as we go. I have no idea what I'm doing. They speak to me. And so, I don't know if you can see now. So I don't like where that one was going. This guy over here. I'll put it wherever. We'll figure it out. Yeah, so side by side, I might put him like over here, resting against other stuff. And then, let's see, let's add some of this stuff. This is called a strantia.
A strantia?
Strantia. It's not a pretty name, but it's a pretty flower. So, let's see. I'm going to do this. So I'll give you this guy. It might be too long. We'll see. Sometimes I cut and cut again and cut again. Yeah, I think these need to be a little shorter. All right. I'm going to throw that puppy in there somewhere.
Here, I'm going to give it to you.
Give it to me? Okay. I'm not sure where to go.
It's a big guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. It's like a little bed.
Yeah, so I'm going to shove this guy over here. And then, I saved a little of the greens for that center. Sometimes I go back and add
Greens
a
in
little
the
more.
Center.
Just to kind of, balance it out
Yeah.
a little more. So if you think about a flower arrangement, it's kind of, sometimes you design with one side, sometimes you go all the way around. So far, it's kind of a circular, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this side is going up a little more. And let's see, and this side kind of goes down a little more. Sometimes they do like a curve. I don't think they have to be like rounded like they used to be.
Right. Like
It can be a little funkier, and I like funky. So let's keep going. I like what we have going on here. I also try to do like odd numbered flowers. So instead of making it even, kind of like getting it. See, I wish I had cut that one a little higher.
Maybe you swap them.
Yeah, swap those puppies out. And these ones are really full and pretty. Maybe I just need to cut the next one higher. Sometimes they don't stand up so great. Like, come on, people.
Get it together,
You have to
flowers.
yell at them a little bit. I mean, you want to be kind and
Oh, yes.
loving to them. Yeah, sometimes they need positive self-talk, just like the rest of us. It's true. It's true. I'm going to swap these guys out, too. This one's a little bit fuller. You can see they're nice and full. All right, so then let's fill this in. I need some more greens in the center. Sorry, I'm taking over.
That's interesting, though. Like that you're putting. I always think of it like greens around it, but it's green in the center.
Well, and I'm digging like funky greens. I don't want the, you go to a restaurant and they have like one green and one carnation on the table. I'm like, oh, those greens. Like most greens can be found in your backyard that are really stunning. If you just look at the leaves and kind of take them in. And people sometimes are like, I don't really want greens. I'm like, oh, but you do. You don't know you do, but you do. Like they really, that's what fills the arrangement, That's what makes it really kind of pop. These are also from the garden.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Wait, I can totally smell those.
Doesn't it smell good?
It does smell
right?
good.
So what I do is kind of squish these together so it looks like one flower.
Mine looks lame.
Yours looks like, here, use mine. Use this one.
One flower.
One flower. And then you kind of squeeze it into the empty spots, right? So it doesn't take over. Like, it's not like shoving in baby's breath where you're like, oh, it's a bouquet of baby's breath. You get kind of this, like, little pockets.
Like a pocket full of sunshine.
Yeah, so you want to pull those leaves off of there. It's a lot more labor intensive, I think, than people think. But picking off the little leaves and finding the right blooms and, checking for little brown petals or every now and then you get one or two on the
Like,
stem.
I don't want to do something wrong is kind of what my problem is. Like,
Well, in life, tell me about it. Flowers, I'm like, I can't screw you up. You guys are beautiful.
right.
But in life, I'm like, am I messing this all up? Am I ruining my kids? Things like
The questions we ask ourselves daily.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I've got my pocket of sunshine here.
Okay, pop that baby in there. I'm gonna do this one over here. Still be?
Sure. Do I have to cut this stuff off too?
Just pull that little leaf off.
Okay.
Can you do that? You good?
Okay.
Yeah. Where do you think this puppy should go?
In the middle?
Well, so that is one thing I will say avoid is putting it right in the middle because then you're
Okay.
like, oh, the arrangement has an antenna. Sometimes I look at photos and I'm like, oh, that was taken at a bad angle because it looks like it has an antenna.
Okay.
So I always like it's this side to that side, something like that. And I like that. Yeah.
That's a little big.
Flowers in your hair. Well, though we could make a little flower
crown?
Flower crown or a little clip or something. I may have to do that for you.
Okay.
Okay. So, so this puppy, maybe like here at an angle, kind of look for blank spots. Yeah. Yeah. And then this guy.
That looks good.
Yeah, right? This guy I'm going to put underneath here. There.
Ooh.
I feel like it needs one more here. Let me just take this rose and reposition it. Sometimes you do that. You kind of look and you're like, yeah, I don't know. Let me just set. I feel like we need one more thing here.
Yeah.
This is some oregano. I'm making a mess of it.
Oregano.
Oregano. Isn't it cute? I like. Here. This is kind of a pain in the butt to clean because all the tiny little
How far
pieces.
are we going?
You're not gonna see much more than the top. So,
Now my hands are gonna smell like pizza.
right? You ready for lunch, dinner? Little Italian. And so with little bits like this, again, I like to kind of group them together. See, like that?
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you clip the bottom.
Like here?
You just shove these in kind of as a grouping. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's put these on a different
Oh,
side.
sorry.
That's okay. Actually, we'll put them right over here.
Oh,
Does that work?
Yes.
Sorry, I took them out of your hand. I'm like, nope, that's not where they go. But in your mind, you get like an idea of how it goes. So I probably should have started with the clematis, to be quite honest.
It's never enough.
Never enough. Do I dare?
Do it.
All right, I'm gonna squeeze you into the end. So this one's gonna hang over the edge.
Oh, I love that.
I should have done this one first.
Okay.
So now, don't do as I do. This is, yeah. You know what? Maybe you should go on a different dimension. Do you see how I'm talking to them now?
Yes.
So this one, I don't like how low it's sitting, although it is pretty low. I'm just gonna tuck it around another one. And so now we have clematis on either side.
Oh, do it.
Got it?
Can
You cut it. You flip it, you reverse it. Flip it and reverse it. Do you lose a few? It's all right, just shake it out. Shake it out. It's like life.
bear. Like these bear guys.
So this is what I would do with this guy. Sometimes you want the buds, sometimes like too much. Let's just
Okay,
take
too
some of
much.
that off. And the ones that are not looking, you just edit. Just editing. Edit, edit, edit.
This one's going in my
If
hair.
you're missing a leaf, edit, edit. Oh, see, we chopped it down to one. I like it. Look at that, it's so cute. So there you go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah?
I love the colors.
Should I clean up the mess?
Whatever.
So this will all compost, which is nice.
Okay.
'Cause
Oh, because you're like putting it back in the earth.
right back in that earth.
Okay.
So it all started with, just a few roses.
And some greens.
And what I grew in the yard.
And P.S. This smells amazing.
Yeah. Well, you can cook turkey with the sage.
And make a pizza with the oregano.
And Italian sauce with the oregano. Yeah, I mean, you probably actually don't want to use it because it's combined with roses that probably had pesticides on them. So
Right.
the reality is you don't want to use it, but you can smell it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone was interested in your freelancing floral arrangements, how would they get in touch with you?
That's a great question. Someday soon, I will have a Sweet Nectar website.
You can DM me and I'll get you the
Yes.
dates.
and I should add that it's Cleveland based.
Yes.
Really like Shaker Heights, Cleveland Heights, Cleveland East Side based. Yeah. Because even though I'd love to go all over the world and do flowers, I got 3 kids.
Well, thank you for just showing us how beautiful and easy it can be, even though like mine would be like with antennas and stuff.
No.
But
Not anymore.
not anymore.
Yeah.
This stuff's going in. Like
I'm digging the flower in your hair.
I'm really loving it too. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna stay there for a while.
Like next stop, Honolulu.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Jen. And thank you for your encouragement. You've been awesome because probably on a weekly or every 2-week basis, she's like, how's it going? What's going on with Sweet Nectar? And I'm like, not a lot this week. But, it's baby stepping. And in the midst of a pandemic and momming so hard. It's hard to lift off, but
you know what, you're doing it, and you're doing it one step at a time, and forward motion is forward motion. It's
I appreciate your check-ins and your encouragement. It's making a big difference.
Well, I know what a rock star you are. I've known for a long time, so